This presentation is going to talk through data dashboards and how you can use Canvas to make instructional decisions at the district, school, course, and student level. There are a lot of ways that you can observe student and teacher interactions, the assessing of work, and the feedback loop. You can also use the data generated to make informed instructional and curricular decisions that are really powerful. Canvas Data Services provides admin with optimized access to their data for reporting and queries. Canvas Data Services combines with your own Canvas data and key systems that you have in your division, such as student information systems, assessment management systems. You can link the Canvas data to your own data warehouse within your school district. That is something that your school can decide, or your division can decide to do. We provide the data that comes out of Canvas, and it talks to the systems that it needs to talk to. This is just an example. This is not something that we created. This is something that, we'll say, Oxford County Public Schools has data that's coming from their big data out through their data warehousing site. And so this is broken down into a number of different ways to look through the access points and see where the assessment scores are, the percentage of proficient students, percentage by gender, Title I, IEP, ELL or ELD. So all of these things are possible if you know how to use the data that is being exported to you. This is another sample analysis report where you could break it down even into critical thinking, written communication, intercultural competence, quantitative literacy, and inquiry, and then have different expectations and have it either meet them, exceed them, did not meet them, and plot it out. Again, when you have the data, it depends on how you use that data in your own instance. I can leverage demographic filters with more detail related to the mastery of standards and their groupings. I'll also show you in this presentation how you can use this data to make curricular decisions. You might even be able to identify a gap with a particular standard across the district. So how can you use data to correct a gap in curriculum? Well, breaking it down and being able to find out whether or not one specific gender, race, SSE is doing better or is not doing better based on the assessment is really, really strong information for you. In addition to data made available to you via Canvas data, we also provide high-level data about your own usage in your instance. At a macro level, we break down activity by participation versus page views. In other words, how much clicking around is happening versus true engagement like discussion responses, assignment submissions, and assessment submissions. Of our engagement, what kind of activities are these? These can also help to drive professional development. If there aren't a lot of discussions being used, how can we fix that? You can see that right here. Not a lot of discussions being used. They're not using announcements at all in this division. How can you use announcements for better communication? And finally, what is the grade distribution or class average across the district? So you can look at all of those things and see how are we doing. Finally, there's also exportable data. Sometimes there's data that you just need to extract and easily manipulate with a spreadsheet. Our downloadable admin reports provide just that. One example here shows that administrators can easily identify students who have not yet submitted work within a given term. So you can see here that this student has not submitted any work into their history or math class. And that is just by the click of a button. Due to Canvas's sub-account hierarchy architecture, all of the data you observed at the district level, so this is Miami-Dade County Public Schools, is also available at the school level. So any school within that is also found down below. That's the hierarchy. Here are the public schools, and then there are sub-accounts: elementary schools, middle schools, K-8 schools, high schools, etc. One additional report that building administrators or principals really appreciate, especially in a time when classroom walkthroughs can't easily happen, is the student interaction report. This report shows that student Dominic Baldwin, the last student interaction between the teacher and the student in middle school physical science was 265 days ago. The student's current score is a 95.5. Their final score is a 6.9% because they haven't submitted things. You can see the ungraded assignments on the right, which shows you that there are a few things that really need to be graded. This one was submitted almost 1,200 days ago, and so therefore it probably should have been graded a while ago. This student has never had any interaction, and so on and so forth. It's really important to see that information when you're dealing with walkthroughs. In addition to your gradebook, the course analytics takes the guesswork out of understanding your grade data. It's cleanly visualized with the ability to compare sections and students. I can drill into an assignment to view assignment analytics. And finally, I can take action on that data by messaging students within a grade range that are missing or late. So if I go back a bit, this is the overall course grade for physical science. I can compare sections in here. I can compare students inside those sections. And then I can see where are the averages for what assignments and discussions, and where are these students falling overall. The weekly online activity is another way to verify information. And then the students is also another way. When you take a look at the all sections experiment approval assignment submission, you can see that the average grade was a 76.6. The lowest grade was a 15%. The highest was 100. 3 students were missing and haven't turned it in at all, and 0 are late. So what I can do is click on this, and it will take me to those 3 missing students, and I can send a message that will go to each individual student with whomever has missed turning in work. It's a great tool for teachers to be able to really quickly determine if students are engaged or not. But grade data doesn't tell the whole story, particularly in today's climate. What is the engagement of my students? Understanding online weekly activity helps with that. So that's this report here that you click in between. I can view page views versus participation, similar to the admin level, but this time within my course on a weekly basis. So I can see that there are a lot of kids clicking on this page, but I can see that only 2 are actually involved and participating on that page. So what this shows me is between August 19th and June 14th, I've had a lot of page views, but I haven't had a lot of participation. And so this is a great way to understand page views versus, so the click versus the do. This will give it even to a more specific avenue, where again I can take action on this data itself. I can message any student using any of these. I could click here, 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 here. Any student who didn't submit work within a period of time specified. I can see that Dominic Baldwin has viewed this page 6 times, participated once. I can see that Carl hasn't looked at it or done anything about it, nor has Corina or Maddie. So I know that these are people I need to reach out to. I can take specific data from these pages, click on it, and any student who hasn't participated in a specific resource or all resources, I can message any student who didn't submit work within a period of time that is specified. And finally, we can view individual student data. Students also have access to their own analytics as well. Right from the gradebook, I can view a student context card giving me a quick snapshot data of a student. This is a context card here on the right, and I can see that my grade is 100%. I have 5 missing assignments and 1 late assignment, but overall, I have done my work and turned things in and done pretty well. As an admin, again, this is a pretty powerful gradebook. I can see grades listed here as points. I can see grades listed here as percentage, and I can see grades listed here as letter grades, all in one gradebook. If I want to zoom in more on this particular student, I can view a student's grade data and specific details related to the submission of an assignment. I can see that the scientific investigation conference, 100% turned it on time. I can see in a specific time period the page views and the participation. This is not very high if I have all these page views but only one time participating. And this is really huge. I can see about communication. We can observe the communication trends between a teacher and a student. If I know that a student is doing poorly and I check with this report, I can see how many times the student versus the teacher have interacted. I want to see blue. That means I want to see that the student has responded. If I were to only see purple, that means the teacher has sent messages or sent notes or put comments on grades, and the student either has never looked, never logged in, never responded, or doesn't know where it is. So I need to go back and make sure that all students know how to do that. I can also download this data with one click of a button right here. That concludes the section on analytics at the division, class, school, class, and student level. There are other ways that we can take a look at information as we transition to how data can be used, particularly at the division level, which can be leveraged to identify gaps and targets in the curriculum.